everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Yoga Blocks. And in this episode, I will be discussing the real logistical benefits of using a yoga block. But before I get into all of that, in this podcast episode, I just wanted to say this to all you avid listeners out there. And it has come to my attention this channel cannot be subscribed to, and it cannot be liked or disliked or even shared. And also, sadly, no notifications for avid followers. The reason behind this is a mystery to me, as Google headquarters has, in all its wisdom, decided to switch off all of these options. However, I hope you are not too disappointed that all current communication systems are non-operational right now on this channel. But I thought to myself, how can I somewhat remedy the situation? And so I have come up with this fantastic idea, and that is to rent out a post office box so that you can all correspond with me on the regular. So look out for my progress on that on a future bulletin video. So in the meantime, here's what you can do for me, and this, my friends, is known as the old-fashioned way in sending a message out there. And I want you to tell your friends, family, and relatives that the Windwash Fashionista channel is up here and running on YouTube. You know, word of mouth in this modern age sounds old-fashioned with all this technology about, but word of mouth can work wonders. So now, having cleared up all of those questions about what's happening with response issues in regard to the Windwash Fashionista channel, can we just get on with this episode already? So, in previous episodes, I have discussed how yoga blocks are useful props for balancing, standing, stretching, and restorative yoga poses, among other things. In this episode, I will prove that yoga experts will write about how yoga blocks can serve various purposes beyond providing additional reach and support, which make yoga blocks possibly the most versatile yoga prop to date. So in this episode, I will be discussing the three main benefits of yoga block uses, and I will give you two yoga pose examples that you can use as you use your blocks for your benefit. Right, the first benefit of using a yoga block is that it can bring the ground closer to you. And it's just that simple, because now when you perform a pose such as a triangle pose or a forward fold, there is no need to touch the floor when you bend over sideways or front ways. All you do is place your hands on your yoga block. This is why a block is good for creating length in terms of bringing the ground closer to you. And with the help of a block, it can prevent you from straining your body or compromising your overall alignment. For example, the teaching points for a triangle pose is having to rest your lower hands on the floor. However, with a yoga block there is no need to lower your hands to the floor, but instead you rest your lower hands onto the block. And if you can not reach that block, then you can add as many blocks as you desire on top until you rest your hands. Another example of bringing the floor closer is when you are struggling with a forward fold pose. Because of tight muscles at the back of your thighs, by placing a block or two on the ground to support your hands, this can give you that all-important straight back that is required to home in on and stretch those back thigh muscles. The second benefit of yoga block usage is that it releases tension. Releasing tension can be difficult to attain, especially if you are a beginner yogi who is finding it difficult to relax into a posture because either the posture is uncomfortable or even painful. So, by using yoga blocks, you can modify many poses and release muscle tension, which makes the pose more simple to do. Here's another example. You can release tension when trying the hero pose. Now, the hero pose can be a rather intense pose, especially if you are experiencing tightness in your ankles and front thighs, right? So, by simply placing a block between your bottom and ankles, this can allow you a longer pose, and as well as that, those yoga blocks will allow for an additional stretch in that front thigh area. Another example to release tension is when you do the easy pose, which can be performed with a yoga block placed under your bottom. By sitting on the block, it lifts up those hips and consequently creates more space between you and the floor, which in turn significantly reduces the tightness that is experienced in the hip area. The third benefit of using a yoga block is that it can achieve a more deeper pose. The reason why is that you can obtain a deeper pose with a yoga block is because the block allows the body to sink deeper into postures, and this is the main reason why restorative yoga instructors incorporate yoga blocks in their practices, because the blocks can allow the body to fully indulge the body into that pose. Now, for example, a deeper intense pose can be achieved when performing the fish pose. What the yoga block does is support your back to achieve a greater opening within the chest and shoulder region. Just make sure that the yoga block is laying flat and rest right between your shoulder blades so that your weight is evenly supported and distributed. This yoga block assisted stretch will help you sink deeper into a back end stretch. Another example of a deep intense pose with a yoga block is the bridge pose. By placing a block in an upright position underneath your pelvis, the yoga block will help support your hips. You can relax into this pose, and gradually this yoga block assisted pose will help open the chest area. This episode of yoga block uses and the benefits of yoga blocks has come to an end. And in the next week's episode, I will be discussing avoiding injury and building confidence with a yoga block. Thank you for listening, and goodbye for now.